Hello, NEA aspiring educators. I am Mark Jewell. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a fifth grade educator from Greensboro, North Carolina, on the traditional lands of the Lumbee and Cherokee First Peoples, and a candidate for re-election to the NEA Executive Committee. And I want to thank you all for this opportunity. It's truly an honor to have a few minutes to speak with you today regarding my candidacy for re-election to the NEA Executive Committee. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started with your questions. Question number one asks, aspiring and early career BIPOC educators are not being recruited and retained at the same rate as their white colleagues. Under your leadership, what will NEA do to change this? Well, we need to recruit earlier, and we need a long-term strategy to develop BIPOC interest in teaching in the middle school years with teaching profession exploratory classes. We also need to expand programs at the high school and the community college level and identify BIPOC students in our schools who have an interest in the teaching profession. And we need to create nurturing courses that give them the knowledge they need about the teaching profession, provide experiences in working with children, and a support system to ensure they have everything they need for a four-year college program, especially financial assistance. I'm very familiar with the teacher cadet program here in North Carolina that actually has an NEA grant to work in school districts with a significant BIPOC population. They've learned that our BIPOC students will return to their school district after graduation and get employment. One school district actually offers the students a job if they make a B in teacher cadet and earn a college degree. It's a great grow your own program that's working. Retention is also a huge problem. Research indicates that BIPOC educators are much more likely to quit than white educators. Expectations from school administrators that BIPOC educators will be the school disciplinarians are offensive and discouraging for BIPOC teachers. Contracts have to be very clear that school administrators cannot make assignments or any other decisions based on gender, race, or ethnicity. NEA can help develop programs customized for BIPOC educators, as well as contract language that provides real support for our beginning BIPOC teachers. Question number two, what plans do you have to address the intersection of AI and education in relation to curriculum and lesson planning, plagiarism, and academic dishonesty, preparing an AI-ready workforce, NEA's organizational systems and staffing, and algorithm bias? Well, this has certainly surfaced as a huge issue for educators this year, not to mention the technology experts are divided as to whether they keep designing AI to the lengths known that are possible. NEA should work with their Department of Education's our members and consultants with background and expertise in AI and ChatGPT to determine laws or regulations that are needed for America's schools. Folks who are well versed in this area can help us develop model contract language, guidelines for teachers and support professionals, and policy language on how AI is used in a school. Our educators need to be equipped with the tools, resources, and knowledge to address appropriate uses of AI with curriculum and lesson planning, as well as addressing the problems of plagiarism, academic dishonesty, and algorithm bias. Question number three. The professional landscape and the qualifications it demands are rapidly changing, contributing to a rising cost of college, a wave of underemployment, and a growing demand for blue-collar workers. How will you direct NEA to respond to this shifting demand in the professional workforce? Well, we need to continue to advocate that those who work in public schools would have their college debt forgiven. We must continue to advocate for professional wages for every public school employee based on the cost of living in their area. Research indicates that educators earn 19% less than comparable professions, and the gap widens to 30% by mid-career. This comes at a high cost for our schools and children who must deal with the ramifications of high turnover and educator shortages. And we know our students in high poverty schools see the greatest turnover. So we must continue to advocate for improved salaries and benefits like health insurance and retirement for all our educators, as well as good working conditions where educators feel valued and respected. This year, a handful of state legislatures introduced bills to pay student teachers. What do you think are the major barriers that aspiring educators currently face? And if elected, how will you use your position in the NEA to address these barriers? Well, student teaching is one of the most important experiences in college education prep programs. I still have awesome memories of my experiences at Gallagher Elementary while I was student teaching at Marshall University. Our aspiring educators are required to do full-time jobs without pay, and many have to juggle other jobs at the same time and contend with transportation issues, which often interfere with the demands during their internships. All of this in a time when the demand for teachers is growing. A recent NEA survey found that 55% of educators were thinking of leaving the profession earlier than planned. The percentage was higher among Black educators at 62% and Latino educators at 59%. And right now, colleges require tuition and fees from student teachers. Some colleges and universities are already offering stipends through residency programs. We need to continue to champion our residency programs that offer paid student teaching experiences and use these programs as models for tuition assistance and provide ongoing support through their first years on the job. We also need to continue to advocate for state and federal policies allowing student teachers to receive stipends or tuition waiver policies. This could range from a salary to reimbursement of tuition. NEA could also look at the current landscape in the United States and in other countries. We've often looked at models of teacher pay and the professionalization of teaching using the medical model. Compensation has already been added to many professional programs, and it needs to happen for student teaching. Question number 5. How do current evaluation and assessment practices for aspiring educators seeking teacher certification, such as EdTPA, impact those from marginalized communities? Well, I think we can safely say that these assessments discriminate against BIPOC candidates and other marginalized communities. These assessments also create a negative experience with the preparation to be a teacher, and they undermine strategies for recruiting more teachers from first-generation college attendees. And the cost is often keeping talented teachers out of the profession. Studies have shown that the test results are often unreliable and misleading, and such programs are a barrier to diversifying and growing the teacher workforce and need to be abandoned. Well, in closing, that wraps up all the questions. So first of all, let me say thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you, NEA aspiring educators, for being a strong and vibrant part of our NEA union. Your legacy within the NEA is powerful and impressive, and a strong force in fighting for racial and social justice for our BIPOC and LGBTQ+ communities. Please know that if you ever need me, I'll be there. I'm excited about the possibilities you've created, and with your voice and leadership, NEA will continue to thrive. I was so proud to receive your endorsement 3 years ago, and I would be so honored to receive it again. 3 years ago, I told you I would run to the fight. And for the past 3 years, I have done that because our members are worth it, our students deserve it, and our country needs it. And I hope that you will keep running with me. Thank you for all that you do for our students, schools, and communities. And as we say in North Carolina, forward together and not one step back. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.